Functions means that there's more than one function at play at a time. So as an example, see GF1. Everybody in class can do 1, 2 and 3, can't you? Replace, in the F equation, replace x with 2. Would you agree with that? In the G equation, replace x with minus 1. And in the H equation, replace f with minus 3. Okay? Now, what these, you see a couple of different symbols here at the moment, right? So the first, most notable one is GF1. GF1 is the same thing as G after F1. Now, what you're going to look at every time is you're going to look at the number or the letter. Okay, so in every question, you'll be given one number. Everybody see what I'm talking about? Which letter is the closest to that number? Means do F first. Okay, so you do F first. So you find out what F1 is. F1 is 4 times 1 minus 1, which is 3. Everybody happy with that? Yes, Lee? So, what we have here is we figured out what F1 was first. Is everybody happy with that? F1 is the same as 3. So all of a sudden, what you do is you replace F1 with what? 3. And all of a sudden, it now becomes G3 on both of them. So now you find out what G3 is. G3 is the same thing as replacing all x's with 3's. And then 2 plus 3 times 3. 2 plus 9, which is 11. Okay? You can actually see they're actually reasonably easy, aren't they? So let's take number 8 as an example. In fact, why don't you try part A first, and then I'll try part A after this. Now, what we're going to get is, first of all, start with f of a half. Okay, so we're doing part 8. So it's the two that are shaded in blue are the ones we're doing. Okay, start off with f of a half. What is f of a half mean, guys? 4 times a half, 2 minus 1, which is 1. Okay, then you replace f of a half with 1. It now becomes g1. Replace all g's with 1's. So g of 1, and the answer is 5. How many people got 5? Majority rules. Right, now the next one after that is h after h. And h after h is very easy again. It's h of minus 1. Which means replace all x's with minus 1. So it's going to be 1 bracket, which gives me 2. So now that's going to turn into a 2. So now you're getting h2. h2 is 1 minus 2. And it ends up to be minus 1. Everybody right with that? Okay. Now, yeah. So what we're going to get next is what happens when you're not given numbers, but you're given letters instead. It's the same trick, but considered slightly more difficult. Okay. So let's take question 3 as an example. What it asked me to do is, it asked me to do h of x first. Everybody see h of x? No, nothing like that. Okay, h of x is what, guys? X minus 5. Okay, can I replace x with anything? Does it tell me to replace x with anything? No. So it's already done though. So therefore the answer is x minus 5. The input is now x minus 5 for g. So you go to g, and you have to do, instead of doing g of x, you now have to do G of what? G of x minus 5. Everybody right with that? Yes. You could, yeah, it doesn't happen, but you could. So then what happens here, guys? 7 minus 2 times x minus 2 plus 5 minus 5. And then 70 minus 2x, or the other way around. And that's g after h of x. Do you want to see one more then? One more for the road? Okay, part 6. F after f. So anybody have any ideas how to do this one? Part 6. What is f of x? So it's basically f of 3x plus 2. What's the f rule? Whatever it is, it's 3 times the input plus 2. What do we have to put in instead? 3x plus 2. After that then? Yeah. After that? Plus 2. And we get 9x plus 8. No. F of x is 3x plus 2. There's nothing to sub in because it's already done for you. So you just go straight in. Okay, guys. And 4 as an example, okay? Show that G2 equals F3. Now this is what you're talking about. When the input for G is 2, the answer to that, which is the output, equals the answer for when you replace x with 3 for the f function. Let's take them both separately, right? G2. What's G2? Which is? Which is 4, yeah. F3, which is? Which is? 4. Have you just shown that they're both equal to each other? There you go. Okay. That's nothing too stressful, alright? The next one. G after f of x. Look at the letter you're given. Look at the x. What's the nearest letter to it? F. Do f first. F of x is x plus 1. Following that, you're now going to have to do g of... So g of x plus 1. Please remember, g function is whatever the input is, goes as a power beside 2. So what's the power beside 2? 2 to the power of x plus 1. Handy, isn't it? Okay, I'll skip on to part 3 then, okay? I'll just do 3a as opposed to 3b. Now, if you look at 3a, show that g after f of 3. How do you get f of 3, Ben? f of 3. Sorry? Yeah, 3 for x. So it's going to be 3 plus, which is 4. You found out that's 4. What happens next? What letter's beside the 4? G. Everybody focused? Good. So G4 is next, and after G4, to the power of 4. What is 2 to the power of 4? It's 16. Is 16 a perfect square? What does it mean by a perfect square? Give me numbers that are perfect squares. 4, not 24. Okay, a perfect square is a number that, pick any number and multiply that number by itself. 5 multiplied by 5 is 25. 2 multiplied by 2 is 4. 3 multiplied by 3 is 9. So 9, 4, 9, 16, 25, 36, 49. Pick any number from 1 to 10, then multiply it by itself. 8 by 8, 64. That's a perfect square. No, not talking about the shape. Okay, we're just talking about the number. Okay. Question 5. Okay, I'll do part 3. Okay. Up for this, yeah? Wait. Now, what do we have here, guys? G after f of x. This is the tough one. What's f of x again for this question? I now have to do, and it's a solve question, which means I'm either going, what way do solve questions end? They end in a linear, they can end in a quadratic, they can end in this one here, or they can end in the difference of two squares. When you're solving equations, they gotta end up like one of these. Is that right? So, which one are we gonna end up with is the question. So, what's the g function want us to do? Whatever the input is, square it and take away 1. Would everybody agree with that? So what do I have to do with the input of 2x minus 5? Anybody? Got to square it, right? So when I square it, what happens? 2x minus 5 and 2x minus 5. What happens after that? There's a 1 there, isn't there? And what's the output when you choose an input of 2x minus 5? 24. Now you're going to have a big long equation here, okay? 4x squared minus 10x minus another 10x plus a 25 minus a 1 equals a 24. What's 25 minus 1? And what's the 24 on the other side? Now what's next, guys? Now, it's not a reference number. What is it? So take out what? 4 and x, and you get left with 2 answers. 4x equals 0 or x minus 5 equals 0. X equals 5. Alright, that's 4 part 3 done, or 5 part 3 done. Yeah, it's a bit on the long side. We'll leave question 6 alone for today.